Welcome in, Big Blue Nation, to another episode of the Cats Talk podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Johnston, joined by my co-host today, Tyler Britton. Tyler, the women's team starts off 3-0 after another big win here on the road. Their first true road test of the 2025-2026 season comes in Clara Strack's hometown of Buffalo, New York, against Buffalo. They win 81-47, what was really a blowout from the start. Tyler, what was some of your big takeaways from this game?
Yeah, welcome back to Buffalo, Clara Strack here. What an incredible game. She had 27 points on the board. She had 12 rebounds. Field goal percentage was 64%. She was 1 for 4 from 3. She had a good game there overall, I thought. She had a couple blocks as well. A little tussle there in the third, was it third quarter,
Yeah,
fourth quarter?
fourth.
Not sure what all was going on there. There's a couple flagrants getting thrown out there that canceled out, and then somehow Tiana Key got flagrant. I don't know what happened there.
That took 15 minutes right there at the end of the quarter, and I still don't really know what happened, but somehow Clara ended up with the flagrant one, and so did Tiani Key. So I'm not really sure what happened there and how Kentucky got the short end of that stick.
At the end of the day, I think Buffalo was just a little, they're just trying to get under her skin. I don't know what their problem was, but Clara was dominating them, and I think they're just jealous.
That was probably their problem. The fact that she had 27 points and 12 rebounds and 4 blocks on 64% shooting. I think if somebody dominated like me like that, I'd probably be a little upset too.
For sure. Well, I mean, the rest of the team did good as well. I thought the team as a whole, I felt like there could have been more production for more people. I was actually kind of shocked after the game that Lexi Blue had last game that she didn't put up more points. She only had 1 point today. She had a couple of rebounds as well, but other than that, she was really non-existent. She was 0 for 3 from 3-point. She had 0 field goals. She was very non-existent after the game she just had where she was going off. So I'm kind of shocked she was a little quiet in this game. Hopefully, that's an anomaly and she can step back up. I know she's coming off the bench too, so her time's limited, but she was quiet. And there was definitely some hope coming into this game that she was going to be, a playmaker out here. Maybe it just was a scheme fit this week. I don't know, but I was kind of shocked by that, and maybe a few other people too. It seemed like the bench was really quiet as a whole. Starting unit got some points on the board. Bench needs to step it up a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, I kind of want to stick on what you're saying there with Lexi in general. I mean, the 3-point shooting, we saw the game against Morehead State. They could not shoot the 3 well at all. Then they shot the 3 really well against Monmouth on Thursday. And then they come back out on Sunday against Buffalo and shoot 17%. So it's like, we've seen, 2 different outcomes, and a lot of it really hinges on Lexi Blue and Asia Boone's ability to shoot the 3. Asia Boone was 0 for 5 from 3 in this game, and Lexi was 0 for 3, like you mentioned. The team was 5 of 29 from the 3-point line. That'll get you wins in a game against a team like Buffalo where you're able to rack up 11 blocks in a game and have Clara Strack just dominate with her physicality and ability to get to the rim. But once we start getting into conference play, which we still got a while, of course, until we get into SEC play, you're going to have Lexi and Asia knocking down those shots because 17% from 3 and 5 of 29 shooting from the 3-point line is just not going to get it done.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm actually looking at this team stats right now, and I didn't realize this until just now, but they went 5 for 29 from 3-point as a team, 17%. That is night and day different from what they were. Maybe this is because it's the first game on the road. They're up in Buffalo. It was a little cold outside. Cam, I know how you deal with the cold.
Man, I am freezing. I am freezing.
Some of these ladies, one of them's coming from Australia. So, I mean, who knows what's going on? Maybe it's just the weather change and on the road, but I'm in agreement. This team is way too talented not to be making more than 17% of their threes. I would be shocked. Really, realistically, they need to be hovering no lower than the 25% mark, and I think that's a low ball.
That's a low bar to hit. So if they're not hitting that, I think we're going to have some problems in the postseason.
Absolutely. But, again, the fact that Clara was able to, pull it together, that was good to see. Let's see, Jordan Obi here, 8 points. She had a really good start against Morehead. She's kind of, I don't want to say she's slacked off because that's not what I'm saying at all, but I was kind of a little more impressed against her, with her first performance, and she's kind of disappeared a little bit off the radar. I'm hoping that was, these last 2 games are a little bit more of an anomaly for her. I feel like she's going to be a big player for the team moving forward, but, at least it's good to see that Tiana Key and Clara Strack that pulled the team together. Amelia Hassett also had 8 points. She hit 2 of the 3-point shots, so she held her own. So, overall, again, the team played well, but I think that right now I didn't see the press conference myself yet, but I'm sure they're having the same conversation they did when they played Moorhead, where this team was good, but none of these players are going to say, hey, like we played our little hearts out. We need to play a little bit better. Even Clara probably to a point will say that just being a team leader herself.
Yeah, and I kind of want to stick on. I think Jordan Obi probably it's just a foul trouble. I think that she got in kind of never was able to really find a flow in this game. She had 4 fouls. Same thing with Amelia Hassett. And I kind of want to touch on Amelia there because I said in the last podcast, like if she's not hitting threes, that you almost can't play her as much as you would like to. But in this game, man, she had pulled down 5 rebounds and 5 blocks. I've never seen that ability from her so far, even with the size that she has. So for her to go out there and get 5 blocks, even add a steal in there, you can start to play her in more of those roles if she's going to give you that kind of effort on the defensive side of the ball. And you look at what the triplets did in this game. Obviously, we mentioned Clara had 20, 27. Tiani Key had 17 and 12. I mean, we've barely mentioned Tiani Key in this, and she had a double double of 17 and 12, and shot 67% from the field. I mean, it was they played about as well as you could have, minus the 3-point shooting. And I think Amelia will start to turn that up here soon, especially how basketball works. Defense leads to offense. If she's able to get, I'm not saying 5 blocks a game. 5 blocks a game is ridiculous. But if she's able to add in a couple blocks, add in some, points on the defensive end of the ball, I think that'll really get her offense going. And, one last starter we haven't talked about, Tony Morgan, 5 points, 9 assists to 1 turnover. Didn't shoot well from the field, only shot 28% on 2 of 7 shooting, but 9 assists. I mean, we're looking for that floor general. We're looking for her to take Georgia Amore's spot and lead the team in that way. Hopefully she can get the shots falling, but 9 assists to 1 turnover. I mean, that ratio was great, especially when she added 2 steals as well. I think Tony Morgan's really starting to play well.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement there. I actually believe that. Not that look. I want every player on the court to be able to hit all threes and all their points. I want them to get points and load up the stat sheet. That's not what I'm saying at all. But to have a player, if they're not shooting the ball well, but they're able to get the assist and they know that they're not going to shoot the ball well, and they're able to be less selfish and get the ball out, and that's how you're going to win games. I think the principles are there for this team. You're going to see bigger, better teams, and you're going to hit. Clara might not have 27 points in the game. Tiani Key might not have 17 points in the game, and you might be struggling to get points for all the players. You might have someone come off the bench like Lexi, and she's able to hit a couple of shots. Asia Boone, these guys these ladies are going to hit some shots, and if you have that one person on the team who's just going to say, "Hey, like today's not my day," it could be Clara. If she's saying, "Hey, it's not my day," and she's able to get the ball out, that's going to be a successful team. Selfish play is going to be, at least in my view and how I've seen basketball games go for men's and women's, selfish ball is how you're going to lose those big games later down the road against the SEC opponents.
Yeah, completely agree. And like I said, I really think just with this team, it's just about them finding that 3-point and that outside shooting. We've seen the difference in scoring from game 1 to game 2 and now from game 2 to game 3. I think if they really hone in on that outside shooting, this team can be a big threat because we've mentioned time and time again the size and length Tiani, Clara, and Amelia give you. So if those guards, Jordan Obi, Tony Morgan, and especially the 2 off the bench, Lexi Blue and Asia Boone, if they can give you that 3-point ability to knock down shots, give you that instant offense off the bench while some of these bigs are getting rest, I think this team can go far. But we've seen 3 games, 2 of them they've shot very poorly, and 1 they shot very well. And it's really come down to those 2, Lexi and Asia. So hopefully, getting back in Memorial Coliseum on Wednesday, hopefully that'll get them back.
Yeah, they got some time before they play some real competition here. I mean, they got some opponents coming up. They play home for South Carolina. They play at Marshall. They play home for Purdue. And then on November 22nd, I would say probably our first real true test, we're playing Louisville at Louisville. So
Yeah, that's not the real South Carolina. That's like South Carolina upstate or something like that.
yeah,
That was
so
the real South
sorry.
Carolina. That'd be a big game.
Yeah, I probably should have prefaced that. My bad. Yeah, there's a difference in ticket price there. One's $14, the other one's probably $100. So
Yeah, for sure.
I will say, I'm just looking at the schedule, probably something worth noting. They do have a few games to kind of get the consistency there. And to your point, I mean, they played Moorhead. They would all say that was a game that they all needed to improve on. And they did. Monmouth was an example of that. They took a little bit of a dip against Buffalo. transparently, I don't know how big of the competition Buffalo is. I don't follow them too much, but I'd imagine that's not anything that's going to be compared to what's coming down in late November when they play at Louisville and then they come back home and play number 10 Maryland. And Cam, I know you like your Maryland schools,
Love me.
but those seem like those are going to be the tough competition, and then at Miami, so you kind of go back and forth here very soon against better competition coming down the road, and then January 1 you're playing LSU. So as long as they can get the consistency down, I think they'll be all right. But I think this is going to be an opportunity. These next few games: South Carolina, Upstate, at Marshall, Purdue. They got to get the formula right because you're going to start playing some good competition. The last thing we need to do is lose against Louisville at Louisville on November 22nd.
Yeah, and I think they've got the baseline of this formula right. I mean, outside of that Morehead State game, this defense has been terrific. 46 points against Monmouth, 47 against Buffalo. I mean, that's outstanding over 4 quarters of basketball. And a lot of those, like at the end of the Monmouth game, at the end of the Buffalo game, starters weren't really playing too much. You were getting a lot of bench guys in there. So to only allow, 46.5 points per game over the past 2, it's really good to see that change. But like I said, sound like I'm beating the dead horse here, but 75 points in the Morehead State game, only 81 in the Buffalo. Obviously, 104 in that Monmouth game. What's the big outlier? It's that 3-point shooting and the outside shooting. So hopefully, once we get against South Carolina Upstate, they'll be able to turn that on and really start to get going. As you mentioned it, the strength starts to get up in the schedule. You get Purdue and then Louisville, and then you start to get close into conference play, and you start playing bigger teams, like you mentioned. Louisville's ranked, Maryland's ranked, play Miami. You start playing good teams after these like next 2. So you really want to get this going and get off to the hot start like they have been. And I think a lot of that just comes down to the outside shooting because I think this team is good defensively with the length that they have. And I feel like the team camaraderie is actually very good for only a lot of these guys like Tony Morgan and Jordan Obi, who didn't play for this team last year, just stepping in. I'm looking forward to seeing what this team could do because I think they have potential to make a deep run in the tournament if they can get that outside shot to fall.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree, Matt. I think this team will find its rhythm. It looks like they're getting closer every single game that they do play. They're learning a lot from each other. There's a lot of shakeup in this unit, and I think that's to be expected at the beginning of a year. And you only have 5 players. It's a little different from a football team. So you lose one person, you switch one person, you lose 20% of your offense, and defense for that matter. I think they'll get their organization together, their chemistry together, and I do expect big things coming down the road here.
Yeah, I do too. And of course, we've already mentioned that they play South Carolina Upstate, which I don't really know what that means. But guess what? They're going to play South Carolina Upstate at Historic
Basically,
Memorial
North Carolina.
Coliseum. At Historic Memorial Coliseum on Wednesday. Tyler and I think we will be there in attendance. I'm pretty sure we will be there. We will see. We are still waiting for the approved credentials, but I think we will get them, and we'll be down there on site. Hopefully this team can shoot the ball a little bit better, but that is it for Tyler and Cameron of the Cats Talk podcast. Until Wednesday for the women's edition of the Cats Talk podcast, go Big Blue.
Go Big Blue.